Well, hello there, it's me, Suited in Black. Happy New Year, everyone. So, I hope everyone had a good 2021, like, despite all the issues that we still had throughout the year. But I hope at least everyone was able to survive. And so, as you can tell, I've got some new things for 2022. So, why don't we just jump in straight into a book review? So, this book I actually read in December. This is like one of the later books I finished in December, so I actually bumped my reading goal up to 38, which is quite nice. So the book I'm going to review today is called Luckenbooth. So it's about like a cursed Edinburgh building and the devil's daughter, and how some sort of action causes her to get angry and make her want to take revenge and curse this building for a century. The novel follows the perspectives of multiple different characters as they recount their experiences in this one particular building, and this spans throughout the whole 20th century. So, straight off the bat, this book is good. I really liked it. I love the atmosphere it created. I love how, immersive it was. It's because of the language it uses that made me really believe this could really happen. So, that I thought was really successful. There's a couple of, I think there's only just one flaw I have with this book, but other than that, this was pretty good, and I definitely recommend it for you. So let's jump into what I think were the good things about this book. So the first praise I want to give this novel is the prose. I think the prose is actually done very well. I think it's not as complex as other Gothic novels. Early Gothic novels, were really sophisticated with language, and they used particular word choice to help connote this kind of darker atmosphere it tries to set out. Luckenbooth is a bit more simple. It's a bit more easier to latch onto, and that's why I think it's good, but maybe not, again, not quite as nuanced as earlier Gothic fiction. Not that I think this is a Gothic novel, but that's kind of what the vibe it gave me. So the next praise I want to give this book is the atmosphere it creates, and I think it's so good because it's really subtle. Like if you really pay attention to what the way the characters experience, this building, sounds a bit weird, but it's a bit of a weird phrasing, but how they how they experience their lives in this building is really unusual and very strange, and it's really sort of thanks to his very subtle way of creating atmosphere through word choice, through language and all that. I think one of my favorite aspects of this novel is actually the structure of it. I love how it's based, and it kind of sort of goes back and forth between the perspectives of several different characters, including the devil's daughter. So I like that it goes between, several different characters who live in certain tenements, or sorry, flats in this tenement. And I thought it just does such a good job of, building up the eventual discovery of what happened to this building, why it's cursed in the first place. And so that kind of, it relates to the atmosphere a lot. And the structure does a good job of, really, engaging you and, pace itself the way it, with the different perspectives and such. And what this does is actually make a very fleshed out story. It really sort of allows you to immerse yourself into these different people, and I think that's why the structure is very good. The next praise I want to give this book is the tone of the novel, and I think this is particularly because of the vernacular language. It really uses the Scottish language to such a good degree. Like it kind of reminds me of Trainspotting a little bit. It really just makes you really feel immersed in Edinburgh, and I think that's so good. That's what made me feel like this is believable, and that I was really immersed amongst the people, and I think that was really good. And also the tone is also very strange, and I thought I liked that. That to me it worked quite well, and I thought yes, this works for me. So a lot of what I'm saying is that it works more for me, but some people I have seen say it's a bit too strange for them. So just as a little kind of saying, this is just my opinion. And relating to tone, the final praise I want to give this book is the vernacular language, the Scots vernacular, and kind of like Trainspotting again. Is it just really, you know, immerses yourself into the culture of Edinburgh, and it really just makes you feel like you're amongst the streets. You could easily walk into someone like in the middle of the street and just, get to know them as if they were part of this building, and it makes you feel like this is real. It really makes you believe what's happening. Like, I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but I think one of the best things this book does is just making you believe it could really happen. And I think that's the best thing I can give this book. And I think that alone made me really like it. Like, it's not quite amazing like Mrs. Dalloway was last year, but Luckenbooth did such a good job. It's that I can't give it something lower than suited good. So spoilers, but that's what this book is gonna get because I really liked it. And now time for everyone's favorite. Why don't we look at the flaws of this book? So, unfortunately, I don't have many flaws with this book. I think I've said this before, but this book, I think the only flaw I could find is the punctuation. It confused me a lot. Like, I know some people said, like my mom said, it's free indirect discourse where it's not really the sort of traditional he, she said, she thought. It's all, mixed together to, I guess, sort of be like stream of consciousness. But unfortunately, I found the punctuation, despite all that, really confusing. It's kind of like Trainspotting as well, where the punctuation to indicate when someone's speaking, it's just a dash, and I find that really confusing. It's just like, ugh, I couldn't even tell when someone's speaking. And what makes this worse is that sometimes in the prose it would have a dash, but no one's speaking, and that's confusing. That is just like downright what's even going on. So that is my only flaw with Luckenbooth. The punctuation can be very confusing. So if you want to read this book, that's the only thing I'd say to be wary of. The punctuation can be very awkward. But despite that, like I've said, this book is really good. I really like it. And to sort of hammer home, the point is that it did enough for me. I like this book because it satisfied my expectations. And it didn't maybe it sort of went above and beyond a little bit, but it did enough to make me feel like this is something solid. I really liked Luckenbooth. And so my final consensus of Luckenbooth is that with its excellent use of urban style, Luckenbooth creates a cursed building story that's really believable. It really, and a sort of a devil story as well. It really makes you believe this could happen. It's super immersive. And so my final rating of Luckenbooth is a suited good plus. If you're into cursed stories about the devil, etc., definitely check out Luckenbooth. I thought it was really solid and definitely one of the most unusual experiences in this genre I've had in a while. And that'll do for today's video, so thank you so much for watching my review of Luckenbooth. So it was a bit of a shorter video today just to kick off this year's book reviews. But what I want to do is try to maybe do more book reviews and try to be a bit more consistent. And I'm not going to do it every day because, it takes me a little while to read. But, yeah. So I hope you enjoy these book reviews. And so the next book review I want to do is for Stephen King's Bag of Bones. And, just to immediately sort of maybe give you a touch of what I think about this book, I think it's quite good. I like the prose of Bag of Bones. So that's one of the things I'll praise a lot in my review for this book. So expect the review of Bag of Bones in maybe a week or so. And of course, until we meet again, I'll be waiting for a Bag of Bones.